Welcome to Boris FX Live, sponsored by Dell Precision Workstations, create without limits, and by NVIDIA and Intel.
Hello and welcome to Boris FX Live. Yep, this is the first live stream of 2021. My name is Ben Brownlee for Boris FX, and I just have to try to stop this echo going on in my head for 1 second, knowing we're absolutely properly live, so we have to mess up the intro every single time. So welcome to Boris FX Live. This is VFX and finishing workflows in Mistika with Boris FX, and we're going to be taking you through a lot of stuff today, and we've got some big prizes coming up as well. So let's get some of the housekeeping done before we get on with the presentation. So we are absolutely live, which means we want to hear from you. So type in all of your questions in chat as the live stream goes on, either on YouTube or at borisfxlive.com. We will try to get to as many questions as possible. We do love to hear from you, so keep those questions coming. And we also you can also win big today. So not only are we giving away a 12-month subscription of the Boris FX Suite, a $12.95 value, so that's everything that we make, including all of the products we're going to see here today. So we're going to be looking at Continuum, Sapphire and Mocha. You'll also get Silhouette and Optics as well. This is a huge prize. And one lucky winner is also going to come away with a year's subscription of Mistika Boutique as well, which is absolutely fantastic. So how do you win? Well, again, it's easy. Just pop over to borisfxlive.com, go down to the bottom of the page, and you will see full terms and conditions and how to enter right there. I also want to take this moment to say thank you to all the people who let this live stream happen. So thank you to our sponsors, NVIDIA, Dell and Intel, and especially to Dell Precision Workstations, the #1 workstation in the world. We use Dells a lot here at Boris FX, and we are very, very happy with the power that they give us. But that's not all, obviously. So if you want to stay up with the socials, then you can do it all at borisfx.com, where you can, download free products and see all our news and, latest tutorials. But we're also here on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Join us, subscribe, like, do the needful. Now, obviously, I can't do all of this on my own. In mission control, we have someone else helping me today. It is Mr. Brian Fox.
That's right.
Hello, Brian. He's back.
2021, baby. 2021.
Yeah, everyone's favorite button pusher back on the buttons.
I will unabashedly do the air horn throughout the show. All right? No,
fantastic.
I promise that's the last time I'll do it. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Super excited. We have a great show today. We're going to talk about Mistika, right, Ben?
We are. Not only are we going to talk about it, we're actually going to see it.
See it.
Yeah.
See it. This is going to be cool. For those of you that like aren't familiar with Mistika, we'll go through a quick, short overview as to what Mistika is. But I'll tell you from my personal standpoint, I used to work for GenArts. GenArts is an old partner with SGO. I can't remember when we started to support Sapphire for Mistika. But Mistika, to me, in my mind, is just unbelievably high-end, premier color grading solution for VFX and finishing. And the one thing that has really always stuck out to me is this cool infinite timeline that Mistika has. So let me play this video from the folks at SGO, and you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about, why I'm always geeked out about Mistika. I'm going to drop the music a little bit. If I don't play my air horn. So you guys can see that Mistika is like just a really cool, something like different. If you've never seen Mistika before, like I can't think of any other application that has this really cool infinite timeline space that really is a different way of thinking and really was always what attracted me to Mistika. Really why I love to use Mr. Boutique now as well, kind of in my own work. But it's just a type of software that there's very few out there. When you kind of take the time to learn Mistika, you fall in love with it. I'm sure, Ben, you have too. It's a really cool way to work. And always been kind of attracted to it. So this is a fun one. We're gonna take a look at Mistika and how Boris FX products fit into that workflow. And no better friends to talk about Mistika with than our friends at SGO.
Oh,
hello, everyone.
Here we go.
And hold on, I probably don't even have their mics on yet, but let me turn their mics on. There we go. How about now?
Hi guys,
hello.
How are you?
Hi.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, we've got Adrián González here, who is the Mistika Boutique product manager. Hello, Adrián.
Hello.
Hello.
Glad to be here one more time with you guys.
Yeah, it's really great to have you here. I mean, I had a sneak peek of what you're going to be showing. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So, can you tell us a little bit more about Mistika Boutique, though?
Absolutely. Mistika is a finishing software. It's the way that we normally describe it. The great things of Mistika, as Brian said, is we have a very unique timeline that allows us to basically do everything on it. We can make color grading, which is probably one of the strongest points in the software. We can make compositing, a little bit of editing as well, review. We can make virtual reality, stereo 3D, and everything is natively integrated. We don't have like different modes or interfaces for all those areas of work. You can basically manage everything from the canvas, which is basically this kind of unique timeline. So in this presentation, you will see some of the capabilities of this timeline, more focused with the integration of Boris FX plugins. But yeah, it's a very unique software, very powerful, that is perfectly prepared for almost any workflow, really.
Yeah, and we're going to be taking a look at that in just a moment. But before we do anything, I also want to say hello to Ava PANJAN. Very sorry for pronunciation or pronouncing your name so badly.
Perfect.
Oh dear. Well, yeah, Ava is the marketing manager for SGO. Hello.
Hi guys, thank you so much for having us. Super excited about this session today.
So Ava's also one of the people who is going to be helping us out in the chat as well. So again, get all of your chat questions in. Just type it in. Just let us know that you're here and you're listening, and you know how you're enjoying things. So I think, Brian, before we do anything else, do you have any other questions, or should we just get right into it?
No, I think let's get right into it. Let's check.
I think that's a good idea. There we go. So yeah, I'm going to hand over to you then, Adrián.
All right, I'm going to share my screen so we can see exactly this. So you now should see it. All right. Okay, so in this presentation, we are going to show how to use Mistika in conjunction with Boris FX plugins to create a look, a specific look for finishing tasks, really. Because normally, when at least our clients see FX suites like Boris FX, they normally believe like, okay, this is more for compositing, but Mistika is more focusing in the finishing and color grading area. But when you work with Boris FX Suite, you realize that they have quite a lot of plugins that can be really, really helpful for the finishing task. So in this presentation, instead of focused on pure compositing, I'm just using Boris FX to create the look of a project, right? So just to have a quick overview of the software so we don't get lost. Basically, this is the timeline that we mentioned. As you can see, and you will see it, I can just move anything wherever I want. It's basically an infinite canvas that allows me to do whatever I want, really. In fact, for example, in this particular case, I'm prepared the timeline for demo or a presentation, which is probably not the most common scenarios for this kind of workflow, for this kind of softwares. But in the case of Mistika, because I just have an infinite space in which I can just put anything wherever I want, I have that flexibility. So I can just even prepare my timeline for a pure presentation. All right. So for this presentation, I'm going to use one specific shot, and then I will copy all the adjustment that I've done of that shot to the rest of my timeline, which is this small timeline that I have over here. All right. Okay, so again, this is the timeline. We're going to spend most of the time in here. If I make double click, again, just to see where how is divide the interface, we will jump into what we call the visual editor. Okay, so in the visual editor, we basically manage the shot individually, where we have the storyboard here to jump between the different shots of my timeline. And in the timeline, I just can manage the project, all the different versions of the project, which is pretty common. In Mistika, it's pretty common to have in the same timeline all the versions for your project. So, for example, if you're making a movie, you probably have the editing for the movie, and at the same time, you have all the different trailers close between each other, so you can copy things from one version of your project to other versions, which is really flexible and basically saves you time by not needing to load in the timeline over and over again. All right. So in this specific presentation, we're going to use again this shot, and the first thing I see using this shot is that, well, if I make zoom in, you will see probably that it has quite a lot of noise. In Mistika, we have our own denoise, but just to for use all the capabilities, most of the capabilities of Boris FX Suite, I'm using the denoise for Boris FX, and it works really, really nice in this circumstances. The reason why I'm using the denoise before anything else is because, well, in just one view, I see that I'm going to have a problem with the noise. So I prefer to remove that problem at the beginning and then just focus on the creative part of my shot. So I'm using here the Boris Continuum noise reduction. So if I make double click, you will see, there you go. With these interactive controls, I can just select the amount of the noise that I'm applying over my image. And as you can see, if I zoom in, I can just see how basically removes the noise in a really nice way. All right. I'm pushing a little bit the denoising in these images because, well, two reasons. The first one is because of the streaming. I prefer to make that difference really clear for you guys. The second reason is for these specific shots, I want to create some kind of dreamy, warm look. I don't need to keep all the texture and all the details intact. I don't want to create something realistic. I want to create. It is a commercial, so I want to catch the attention of the viewer by creating something that is a bit shocking. All right, so that's the reason why I don't care too much to soft a little bit more the image. All right, so this is the noise. Then I just jump to the creative part by using the Boris Continuum depth of field. Now you will see in the whole presentation that I'm using quite a lot of effects from Boris Continuum with the plus in here. Those are part of the new suite of 2021. And let me tell you guys, some of them looks like very simple at the beginning, but they are extremely powerful and extremely useful for finishing tasks, as we will see. All right. So this depth of field basically allows me to focus, for example, to create some kind of blur around some object or some blur in perspective. In this particular case, I'm just keeping like the focus here in the face of the dancer, but I'm blurring everything around so I could create this kind of a little bit three-dimensional effect. Now, there is a really nice addition to Boris FX plugins, which is the FX editor. If I click here in OK, this will open an external editor to manage those effects. This is really awesome because before that, basically, let me cancel this for 1 sec. I needed to control the effect using these parameters here, which they are still working, but they are less visual, and it's much more comfortable to control those effects and those plugins with this external editor. Let me open it again, okay, so we can see it, right? There are several things that are really, really useful. The fact that you can have like multiple presets here, which, by the way, the presets in Boris FX Suite can be shared between softwares. It's not something specific of this system or of this or just this preset for Mistika Boutique. So for example, if for any reason you are creating some presets in your editing part of the workflow, like because for editing you need some of those effects, you can just save those presets and bring them to Mistika to continue the job for make the finishing. So we have here a library of presets. We have the controls in here to control the image in a nicer way. We have even an histogram. So again, it's a fully functional, specific interface to control these plugins, which is really a really nice addition for the Boris FX suite. All right, so playing around with these settings, as you can see, I haven't changed quite a lot of things in here, but I can just create this kind of blur around the face of the lady, right? Okay, so next step, and what I did is using this ambient light. The ambient light plugin basically is another new plugin for the Boris Continuum suite. It's really amazing. I really like it. It's very simple at the beginning, but it basically helps you to put the light of your image in a really nice starting point. Like let's see the original source, right? As you can see, it's a little bit dark. For the kind of look that I want to build in here, I want to basically increase the exposure of the shot. And with just this simple effect, without even touching anything, I haven't touched any of the parameters. I've just put the default values, but I can just control the brightness for here. So for example, if I want to decrease it for any reason, and decrease it. If I want to increase it, of course, I can increase the overall value. The nice thing of this effect is that in a really quick way, I can set the overall light of my shot. Of course, you can create a similar result using our color grading node, which we will see it later, just to make some quick adjustments. But the great thing is, instead of play around with the gamma, the gain, in case of Mistika, even you can use the secondary color correction with bands to control the highlight, the midtones, etc., to set the overall light of your shot using these controls. In this particular case, with just one effect, almost loading that effect directly in the shot, you get a really nice result. So it basically speeds up the process quite a lot. All right. At this point, let me make a quick play. The final result, we will see it in full screen just to show you how the shot is moving with these effects. There you go. So this is like my starting point. I'm creating the base of my artistic result or my artistic look, right? Okay, so let's jump to the next step, which is probably
just before we do anything else here, Adrián. Sorry, I just want to say that the BCC Plus effects editor is new for Continuum 2021. So it's only going to be the effects that say BCC Plus that are going to have that effects editor. The older effects actually have a sort of a different style of preset browser where you can preview all of the presets, but you can't go in and change them like you can with the effects editor.
All right. Yeah.
So sorry, I just wanted to point that out to the viewers there.
Absolutely.
I also have a question. If we've got time for a quick question before we move on.
Sure.
And it's actually about grain management because you put the noise reduction in at the start on one clip. Would you apply that same noise reduction effect across the entire timeline if you had multiple clips?
Well, it always depends because at the end I need to tweak shot by shot. But probably the first step, yes. I mean, just to have like an overall clean look of my shots. Then I will go shot by shot, tweaking all those aspects and removing unnecessary effects. If your shot is already clean, I won't use that noise reduction. But yeah, just even just for pure organization purposes, because as you can see, you build the stacks in vertical. I would have at least in the first step like all the layers with the same effect, so I can just see what I have in every shot.
That makes perfect sense. And when it comes to doing like regraining at the end, that would be a sort of similar thing then, a similar process of just putting your either real grain or your regrain filter over the top of the entire timeline.
Exactly. In fact, those kind of final effects, I normally apply it to all my timeline. I don't care too much if some shots don't need it or not. I will go then shot by shot by adjusting those things. The only time that I apply just one specific effect to one specific shot is if there is some really specific situation that must be fixed for that shot. If it's something general, I will apply it to the whole timeline and then go to shot by shot fixing it.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks for that. I think that definitely answers the question. So I'll leave you to it.
Great. All right. The next effects that I have used is the day for night filter here. Again, for this effect is part of the new Boris Continuum Suite of 2021, and this is the kind of effect that normally when you load it, you see and you think, hey, how can I use it? Because if I duplicate this the source layer, all right, and I put in here the effect, which is in film style, day for night. There you go. You see that basically it's like, well, from the visual point of view, it's like applying like a very strong blue filter over your image, and you can think, I don't know how to use it, how to integrate it with this particular shot. Well, in my particular case, I haven't used this effect to transform from day to night, of course. What I've done is by tweaking the parameters, is to basically create a cold kind of look for my shot. So I'm like painting a little bit my shot of with this kind of blue. But the great thing is the way that it mixes this filter with the skin tones and the warm tones of my shot allows me to create this kind of contrast of cold areas and warm areas without investing too much time on it. I don't need to make any key or any selection, any mask, nothing. I'm just basically mixing this kind of filter over my source image by creating this kind of contrasty look, which is a really nice, again, a starting point for the artistic look. All right. So this is like, I'm still not making color grading, but at the same time I'm making my grading with these filters. All right. Now in here I'm combining now with Boris Continuum. I'm combining Sapphire FX plugin, an effect from the Sapphire Suite, which is the warp chroma, to create some chromatic aberration over on my shot. All right. This is something that is great with Boris FX Suite in general. I can combine things from one specific part of the suite, like Boris Continuum, with Sapphire. In the case of using Sapphire FX plugins, I can track them with Mocha. So things are really well connected. So I can combine them in a way that I want, giving me a quite huge flexibility. In this particular case, I want to create this kind of chromatic aberration, again, as I told you, because I don't want to create something like very realistic. I just want to catch the attention of the viewer, and this kind of effects can help me to build that feeling. So with this plugin here, I can just create this chromatic aberration. Let me make zoom in so we can see it. Move the direction in a really interactive way. I can just select how much chromatic aberration I want in my shot, and which direction in which direction I'm applying that kind of distortion. All right. Okay. And then here I'm applying the first color grading of the whole stack, the first pure grading. This is a native effect of Mistika. Mistika has been always recognized as the most powerful color grading tools out there because of the amount of tools you have. You basically have tools for everything. If you can see, for example, here in primary, we don't have only the leaf, gamma gain, the traditional leaf, gamma gain controls, but you have the soft clip control as well. And if you go to bands, this is like the secondary color correction. I have 5 trackballs for that with pivots. If you go to the fixed vector, I can just control primary and secondary colors in a very interactive way. We can even have like a hexagon to control those colors, to control hue saturation at the same time, and luminance in parallel. So basically, you have controls for everything you need from the grading perspective. For this presentation, we are not using the color grading too much, just to create like the final look, like the final adjustments. Basically, because we wanted to show how Mistika combines Boris FX plugins with native effects. We have quite a lot of webinars and presentations talking in detail about the color grading toolset. Today is not the moment, but even though I'm basically using it for making the latest adjustments to my shot. So for example, let me go to the first frame so you can see it. There you go. So without the color grading, you see that it's not very saturated. The skin tone is a bit undersaturated there. It doesn't have the right color for the skin. So I'm just focused. I'm used this color grading to put the skin in the right place, or what I think is the right place. All right. So for example, in the first vector, I just make some kind of a small contrast there, or increase the overall saturation. And of course, if I go to here to the warp chroma, if I go to the final, there you go, final frame, I'm going to open this. Let me show you. There you go. So as you can see, after applying all those filters, I'm getting overexposed areas. I normally, as a user, I normally don't care too much about this problem until the end of the process, because in Mistika you always have the full signal. You never lose the full signal, so I can recover back those values later if I want. So I prefer to work first in the area between the 0 and the 1000 level, working there, and then recover those values. That's the reason why I'm using this color grading in here. Okay, so this color grading in the vector 1, it has a soft clip set at 80%, and thanks to that, as you can see, I can just recover the values from the percentage that I want. So I can just put everything in place thanks to that color grading. Again, with the fixed vector, I'm using the hexagon here to control the color of the skin tone. Let me go to the frame 0. So as you can see, I can control the color of the skin tone in a really quick way using the hexagon here. All right. So this is like my color grading part of the stack. As a final adjustment.
Before you get to the final, yep. Oh, hang on, I'm going to break in again, because can we just pop back to the color correction for 1 second, or the color grade? I mean.
Yeah.
Because we've had a couple of questions in the chat about color management and
All right.
and how Mistika works with color management.
All right, so in Mistika, because everything is managed from the timeline, in Mistika the color management is created with an effect called unicolor. So it's in here, the unicolor, and it's a very simple effect, but very powerful. You can basically make transformations from any input gamma curve and input gamut to any output gamut and output gamma curve. Just in case that you're working in a pure ACES workflow, we have an independent effect called ACES ODT for the output displace transformation, which basically have all the curves supported by the ACES workflow, by the ACES package, which is the different deliveries for example, 2020, 1000 nits, and PQ, etc. So this is the only part of the color management that is separated from the unicolor, but the rest is everything managed with the unicolor effect, which can be applied shot by shot or by a group of shots or by the whole timeline using an internal effect called an internal feature that is called display filter. But yeah, without going into too much detail about it, the unicolor is the effect that manages the whole color transformation in Mistika's timeline.
That's great. That's great. And I just want to sort of reiterate the fact that, you know, unless you put in a clip, you're not going to be clipping your colors when you're working up in the stack. So
exactly,
you know, that's you know, vital there. But yeah, thanks for that. That's definitely answered that question there.
Right, so as I said, as a final step, what I'm using here is lens flare that is from Sapphire FX Suite. In this particular case, although I can use Mocha for tracking, it was really simple. So I just basically use keyframes, and well, Ben is going to show us as well a little bit more about Mocha. So I've just tracked with two or three keyframes the position of the lens flare, because it was just a small minor detail over there, right? As you can see, the lens flare is there, and I just apply. This is something that I do quite a lot of time. I always use like a master color grading effect, and then if I apply external effects later, like a specific lens flare for this particular shot, etc., I like to control the color and the overall result with the lens flare with a secondary color grade. That's the reason why I'm using here a secondary color grade. It's not that I'm making like another overall adjustment for all the shots. It's that now I'm applying that color grade for this specific shot. So now that we have the shot ready, let me play this, comparing the original image with the final result. I'm going to make this full screen so you can see it here. As you can see, I'm trying to get something that is not realistic, but is more catchy. Is this kind of dreamy vibe. So that was the look that I was trying to find. And the great thing is I'm not using too much of the color grading tool by itself. I'm basically grading my shot and creating the look with Boris FX plugins, which means that you can see here the flexibility that you can get combining color grading with this kind of effects, because there are some things like chromatic aberration, lens flare, this kind of a smart blur that you cannot get with a simple color grading tool. All right. Okay. So now, once that I've done my grading, what I do is just copy this. I can copy the whole stack. Okay. This is my timeline. All right, this is my timeline. I have here several shots of the same commercial. I can just take all of them, match and paste, and then paste. So automatically it will adapt all the stacks to the shots. Then later, because of course this is like a very general approach, then you have to go shot by shot. Is what I did in here. Is basically the same process that I've done in there. So, but once I've just make the copy, I just went shot by shot to make the different adjustments. So at the end, I had this result. Let me show you in the whole timeline. But again, it's just copy the same stack, paste it in the rest of the shots, and just make small adjustments shot by shot. So it was a really quick process, to be honest. So let me show you. There you go. As you can see, it has the same feeling, even if they are like different shots. But the filters are working really well in all the scenarios that we have in here, which again is to show how you can get like from a colorist perspective, from a finisher perspective, you have basically how you can combine tools that probably on paper you think are basically focused on compositing, but if you integrate them with color grading as well, you can get fantastic results without too much effort, which is something that is great, right? And I think that's it from my side, Ben. I think we can jump to Mocha and to show more stuff about Mistika and Boris FX.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. I think I might like to come back to your shot maybe a little bit later as well, depending on how much time we've got. But
right.
that was great. That was I could see that chat is really engaged. It's people are loving Mistika. Like people who haven't seen Mistika before are being absolutely blown away by it. So that's good to see. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Let me jump in, Adrian. Great
Brian's
stuff,
jumping in.
Great stuff. But I mean, the one thing that always kind of shocks me is how just fast and responsive Mistika is. I don't know if people can see that in the stream, but it's fun to watch you work, and just it's one of those applications that always keeps up with you. It's kind of what you get from a best-in-breed software and color grading and finishing solution like Mistika. But that's one of the things that really blows me away when you're using this tool, is exactly that, how fast, how snappy it is. I can be a super diva, like when I'm working, right? And I want it to be like as fast as I'm trying to go. So like it's fun to watch you hop around and really mess around. And like I said, I'm not sure if that's coming across in the stream, but it's one of the best parts about Mistika, in my opinion.
Yeah, Mistika, at the end, Mistika is the kind of software that you use quite a lot of times with the client in the room. So we always have to optimize everything we do to deliver real-time playback. As if we can do it, of course, there are always effects that doesn't allow you to do it, but
sure,
we need to optimize the whole infrastructure, the whole software to get that kind of a final goal, to have real-time playback, not only with grading, but with compositing, or when you integrate even external plugins like Boris FX plugins in the timeline. Yeah.
cool.
Wonderful. Yeah, well, I think before we go into my little section, I just want to say, join us in Boris FX Live. There is still time to win one of our fantastic prizes. We are giving away 12 months of Boris FX Suite, which is everything that we make, including Continuum and Sapphire that you've seen here. Will also be part of that suite is Mocha, Silhouette, and Optics as well. And also, we are very happy to be giving away a 12-month subscription of Mistika Boutique as well. So that's the Mistika software that we're seeing, or will be seeing, on my system soon.
I don't have
And
a graphic.
Brian is very happy.
I don't have a graphic.
Brian is very happy.
I don't have a graphic for 12 months of Mistika. It's okay. I mean, you can keep asking for it, and I'm just.
I can.
I can have that one, but
it's not the same.
It is not the same.
It's not the same.
12 months of Mistika. That is a great prize.
It is a great prize.
Adrian, what is the value of 12 months of Mistika? I apologize, I don't know, and put you on the spot, but.
I think it's $3.99 if I right. Three. Yeah, Eva. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Yeah.
He was in. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. Adrian is all about creating nice-looking images. So
Yeah.
Bring in the heavy.
Yeah.
Bring in the heavy.
jump in with the pricing. So basically, Mistika Boutique starts with you can choose from monthly subscription to annual subscription. You can also do just 30-day license or a 1 year without the automatic renewals. So we have like different editions of Mistika. You can choose regarding to your needs. So the most basic one, it's called the personal edition, and it starts with 99 euros per month. which gives, for the 1 year that we're giving away today, the full price is actually 3,390 euros, because it's non-subscription, so it's a little bit more expensive than the subscription one. So yeah, I think it's a very cool price to give away today.
Excellent. Excellent.
Absolutely, goodness.
Is there what's the trial situation for Mistika look like? Is there like a free trial?
Yeah,
that people
so
can try?
absolutely. We have a 30-day free trial available on our website. You can just go to sgo.s/Mistika Boutique, and you'll see the free trial there, and just download it, install it on your hardware, and you're ready to go. It runs on Windows and Mac, so both of them are supported. And the limitation of the activation for trial version is 2. So you can have it for 2 months running free.
Very cool. And that's watermark free? That's like really no limitations?
It's only, the only limitation is rendering to compressed formats. Otherwise, everything is fully supported.
Very cool. Makes sense.
Excellent. Well, should we jump into the next section then?
Sure.
Absolutely.
I think, yeah. But keep your questions coming, because this is the bit where I actually get to get my hands a bit dirty with Mistika Boutique. I am going to say that I am not the world's best or greatest Mistika artiste, but I'm going to do my best, and hopefully I don't embarrass everyone. Having Adrián on the other end of the screen is it's a bit nerve-wracking.
It's always intimidating
right.
to follow a product manager.
No, it's terrible. I should have gone first.
No big deal. And Adrián is definitely the world set apart in product managers in terms of artistry. So yeah, you have big shoes to fill. But I have confidence.
So do I. I'm actually going to try and share my screen without looking down. Let's see what happens here. Yes, it's happened.
That's a big fail.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's really not good. Right. Well, let's have a little look at this then, because I've got a couple of shots that I want to show, and I want to look a little bit more in depth about looking at what we can do with Sapphire and what we can do with Mocha, Mocha Pro as well. So I have my first little shot here. I'm just going to jump into this, and this is the shot that I've got. It's just a little bit of random dancery nonsense. It's fantastic, and to make this even more interesting, I'm going to be sticking a giant lens flare in the back, because, well, you know me and lens flares, and if you don't, then check out the hours and hours of lens flare tutorials and talks that I've been giving over the last couple of years. So yeah, I'm just going to come into the effects, come into Sapphire, into lighting, and I am just going to build this up from scratch. So I've got my lens flare. One of the things I really love about applying an effect is how little work I have to do. It's literally just click on it, and then I move it like a millimeter, and all of a sudden it's applied to my effect. And Brian was saying about responsiveness. This is the lens flare, the Sapphire lens flare, being probably the most responsive I've ever seen it as I'm dragging it around, and it really doesn't matter what lens flare I use with this. Like some hosts, the way that they talk to the plugins, add in a certain amount of delay when you're sort of just scrubbing around, but this responsiveness is something that I could get used to. So I'm going to just come in here and just going to come in and start to adjust this up a little bit. Now the first thing that I'm going to do is just sort of something that Adrián didn't look at or point out at, but which I think is something that people who are new to Mistika would be quite sort of interested in seeing, is actually how all of the little bits of an effect can be shown or hidden at any time. You don't have to have like this whole huge list of everything that you can do, you can be a bit more graceful about it and sort of just see the bits that you're interested in. So I can come in here and I can come into the Sapphire lens flare designer, and this looks just like you would expect it to. This looks like the flare designer always does. And I'm not even sure if this is, you know, picking up on the stream, but the responsiveness within Mistika is even faster than it is in the flare designer itself, which is it's a thing. It's a thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's definitely a thing.
That perplexes me.
It's amazing. It's amazing. But I can come in here and you know, if you haven't seen the Sapphire lens flare before, we have, you know, there's a ton of different presets to work with. I'm not going to go through the big lens flare spiel. I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to try and find one that I actually think works quite well with this, and I'm going to do something that I normally don't do, and I'm going to choose someone else's preset. Normally in these sort of presentations, I will always choose a preset that I've done myself, because that's the way I roll. But I'm just going to come in here, choose a preset. I'm going to keep it all at the default values, and we're back in Mistika. I mean, look at that. It's just a joy. And I can do things like come in here, like scaling the widths up, so making it a little bit brighter, a little bit bigger. So we got that there. Now, obviously, I want this to move in with the shot, and I don't have the patience to do any sort of animation or keyframing. So one of the things that is really nice about actually 2 out of the 3 of the Boris FX lens flares actually have Mocha built in. So when we open up the integrated version of Mocha, this is what you see, and it's basically it's a very pared. It looks like a pared down version of the Mocha interface, but we do have like the whole thing just hidden. So if you're used to working with Mocha, you can use the same tricks within this integrated version as you would do in the real thing. So all I'm going to do is just track the translation, and just what might help is if I came in and actually tracked this in. So I've got 2 things. I've got the hotspot, which is where I'm going to apply the lens flare, and I've also got this search area, which is where I'm going to be looking. Defaults to a circle. We can make that any shape we want to. Now, the nice thing about having this being an easy offset is, you know, I don't really want to be tracking where the girl is going to go over, because obviously that's going to, you know, mess up my entire shot. But once this is tracked in, it's really easy just to move where I want the you know, the hotspot to be applied to, and I'll probably stick it. Actually, I'll probably stick it around about there, which is kind of nice, and I'm happy with that. I'll save that out. Come in, and I will now apply that hotspot in here. So Mocha uses hotspot. Let's give that a quick play through, and we are now looking as if we have, you know, a nice little lens flare going in the background. Now, the only thing that I've got a problem with is maybe when she's in front of the sun, or whatever the light source is going to be. It's got to be the sun, hasn't it? You know, maybe her face shouldn't completely blow out. So we could, you know, come in and animate and sort of keyframe all of that up, but I'm far too lazy for that. So I'm going to come back into the little timeline here, and I'm going to show you something that we haven't actually looked at. We do have a little node graph here as well. So I kind of like working with nodes as well as layers, and with something like the lens flare, we can actually put in two different inputs, one for the background and one as an occlusion layer to sort of block out or decide where the lens flare is going to be. And this probably isn't the most elegant way of doing it, but I'm doing it this way just to show you how we can work with it. So what I'm going to do here is I made a little copy of that, and I'm just going to feed that into the lens flare. And you can see that updating on the timeline as well. And let's come back and actually just pop into my lens flare one more time. And now if we come down, I can go to, actually let's go all the way down to occlusions, which is going to be somewhere around here. Where are you, Mr. Occlusion? It's going to be down the bottom, isn't it? Because that's where I'm not looking for it. And basically, I'm just going to come in and say, use my occlusion, please. Which is not a Guns N' Roses album. I'm vamping here to try to figure out where my thing is going to be.
I am of no use to you. I would jump and help you out, but
it's here. It's definitely here.
Yeah, because it's broken down in pages. It would
because it's here because I had it like a second ago. I'll show you. Hang on a sec. Let's come out the node graph. Actually, what I'll do is before we do that, I'm going to stick a color effect over the top and just come in here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Luma value to work with this. So yeah, if I'm just going to, again, this is like a really kind of not the right way of doing this, but it's my way of doing this. Just going to crunch this up a little bit, just so we've got like a really nice kind of black and white image. I can even come in and blur this up just a wee bit as well. And I think, yeah, we are popping into the right area. So now what we should be getting is a way of doing the occlusions. And if I can't find it here, I'm just going to go into the one that I baked earlier. There we go. It's just under occlusion. Why is occlusion not popping up? Oh, I think I know why. I think I actually messed up the what's it called? I messed up the way of putting it into the node. So don't mind me. It will pop up if you're in the least bit competent, which apparently I'm not.
Okay, while you're messing around, let me just bring in a question, if you don't mind.
I do not mind.
This is for Adrián. Adrián, we had a question online asking about the hardware acceleration in Mistika. How does that work? Is it GPU accelerated, and which which GPU acceleration specifically for the Mac or the PC?
All right. The whole software is accelerated, but GPU. We use CPU for decoding or encoding, basically. But for the rest of the process and how the effects work, all of them are based on GPU. That's the reason why it is so fast. We use, well, it depends on the effects, and it depends on the decoder. Sometimes we use CUDA as acceleration. Sometimes it's OpenGL or OpenCL. It changes a little bit depending of the process. But again, yeah, it's pure GPU. It's a pure GPU-based software. But we support any kind of hardware. I mean, we are very agnostic on that. We can use AMD, we can use NVIDIA, we can use whatever you want. Of course, we build our specific systems for the customers, thanks with Mistika Ultima, which is like the turnkey solution with everything. But if you have Boutique, which is this software solution, is you can use whatever GPU you want. It can be an NVIDIA GeForce if you prefer. It works perfectly well with that kind of GPUs.
Cool. And same thing with on the Mac side. Is it all OpenCL or is it Metal Accelerator?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, absolutely, the same thing.
Gotcha. So, but you would definitely recommend, like a strong GPU to have the best performance.
Oh yeah, I mean, if I have to select one specific hardware component for Mistika, it would be the GPU, and it would be like GPU, RAM, memory, depending of the resolution that you use for your projects. But in Mistika, we are really used to work with a very high resolution because of the VR market, etc. So yeah, GPU would be the first one, but absolutely.
Cool. Thank you, Adrian.
No worry.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I'm back.
You're back.
I'm back. I'm there. Yeah, so it's working. It's working. It was me putting things together in the wrong way. So it is there. What I'd done is if we come back here, we can see it actually around here somewhere. It will say that I've got a blank space for like for the occlusions.
Gotcha.
So I've got my background, and I've got my occlusion space holder, which obviously should have been filled with what I was using for an occlusion. So that's on me, everyone. Unsurprisingly, obviously. So the last thing that I want to show here is actually, now this is working. Now we've got the occlusions working. Something that you can't really see on this viewer, but you can easily see it on the external viewer, is that thing that we were talking about with Adrian, that we don't have the colors being clipped. So with something like a lens flare, where there is like a huge, over bright area, I actually want to clamp that down. And one of the things that I've been saying since the 90s is that we should be legalizing it. And so I'm just going to stick a legalizer over the top of everything. And then we've now got those values clamped up properly. And I know, because of the way that the legalizer is, which we've got the controls over here, that I know that I can take this out and be broadcast safe. So, which is good. Adrian was doing that in a different way, obviously, with his soft clamps, but this is me just being belt and braces.
If I was a good director, I would have my sound effect ready for your legalizer joke.
Thank you. If I had warned you that there was going to be any form of jokes going on, no matter how weak they
talk
were.
a little slower, and I might hit the button in time.
Oh, you can't play Cypress Hill because we do get a ding for that. So, the other thing I want to show quickly, do we have any questions actually before we go through that?
We do have some questions. I can jump in, and this one is definitely for Adrian.
Someone competent. Very nice.
We're talking about Mac support. I'm just going to read. So Marek asked, what about SLI in the new Mac Pro afterburner cards? Does Mistika work with that?
Not at this moment. We are still adapting the latest changes from Mac to Mistika, because right now we use everything we use a standard hardware for everything. So now that Apple is releasing specific processors for their systems, and they have specific cards for that, we have to adapt the software to this hardware, to this specific hardware. So far at this moment, no, but in the future we will support it as well to get the maximum performance for Mac as well. Yeah.
Very cool. Super excited. I mean, just like the same as you guys, here at Boris FX, we're working hard to support the new M1 processors and the new Macs.
Yeah.
We'll say performance is very impressive at the early stage, so it's definitely very exciting what's going to come in 2021 with with these new Mac machines.
Cool. I want to just look at one last shot then, if that's possible. I know the time is ticking, so this one's going to be a quick one. But it's more to do with like the integration and how we can start to use things like Mocha within Mistika as well. So I'm going to not do the whole shot because I've already broken down the shot here, but I just want to show a couple of things in Mocha. So let's bring Mocha in. So it'll load up. Here we go. And if I want to, we can actually have it looking pretty much like how we saw it before, with just the Essentials workspace. This is something we introduced a few years back, and people really like it. So we've actually got quite a long shot here that I'm going to track in, and I can track in with multiple shapes and do all that sort of fun stuff, and not really worry, because of the sort of properties of the planar tracker, not really worry when stuff goes off screen. I'm still going to get a nice solid shot. What is really exciting though is something that only got introduced in the Mocha Pro 2021 plugin version. This is something we've had in Mocha Pro standalone for actually a long time, a very long time, and that's Python script editing. So you can run your own Python scripts directly within Mocha, and we've had people use Python to sort of extend the Mocha toolset in various different ways, whether that's been a sort of facility level or just for creating some new tools. And we've got quite a lot of Python. There we go. Oops, there we go. Yeah, we've got quite a lot of Python script help. And if I go to my Python script editor, we've got the Python scripting all over here. So this is something that we haven't been able to have in the plugin version, but because as part of the 2021 architecture change, there was a lot of work and a lot of effort went into to working on a lot of the sort of behind the scenes bits of Mocha, and one of the payoffs of that is being able to run the Python script editor within the plugin version, so wherever you are. So we can have scripts that do fun little things like with this one, if I hit play on that, this one will randomize the overlay color. So we take a quick look. Actually, we'll go into classic mode to see some of the overlays a bit more. And I can come into my script editor again. And so we can just keep, there we go, just keep randomizing those colors until we get something that we actually like. Hey, it's kind of cool. But we can do more useful things with it as well. And one of the things that we've done, and I say we've done, like for this presentation, Martin Brennand, who is the Mocha product manager, wrote a new script to do tracking export for the Mistika tracker. So this is something that we don't currently have in the native tools, but we came in, and because it's very extensive, something, a word like that, what we've got here is a way of taking out tracking data into Mistika. So if I just take, we'll take the one that I tracked in. So that's this, this one here. I can export this track out, and we've got a new tracking format, which is the Mistika point tracker file. So I can save that out as another file here. I've already got this one. Well, I've already got this one done. And let's not save that. And then if we come into something that uses the tracker, so actually I'll come in and we'll do a comp 3D just on this one. Just I'll show you that one there. And if I come into the trackers here, I can actually load in trackers. I've already got a couple or one already in there. Let's just delete that. So I can load in that tracker from my project, or from the Mocha export. So that's this one here. So if I then go to tell it to actually go to corner pin, stabilize, that should go position. Actually do position, scale and rotation, stabilize. Well, oh, that's because I'm not applying it to the right layer. There we go. That would help. And let's zoom here. And let's apply it to the right thing. So get rid of all the ones that I've already got. Come in here, position, scale, rotation. Select my points, stabilize. Hey, there we go. We've got a stabilized track. Now, this seems like it, isn't exactly the most useful, but what I've done with it, obviously the concept is very useful, but what I've done with this one here is probably more useful as well. Is I've taken this and I've added this to I've done a bit of paint work on it. Let's just come in here. So I've done a bit of paint on this and just painted out the little sign that was in the bottom there, and then that's been tracked through, and I've applied that then with the corner point 3D to actually just paint out that sign really easily. And that's just something very quick, and obviously being able to bring in tracking data is really, really useful. Like Mocha tracking data is really, really useful. Mistika does have trackers of their own, but obviously Mocha's planar tracker has a certain level of robustness against tricky shots, things with motion blur, noise, that sort of stuff, or in this case where objects are going off screen, it's very easy to start to work with that there. And I could go on. I've got another shot, but I'm not going to. I am going to stop. I'm going to know my time limits, and I think we're going to come back now and take the last questions.
Very cool, Ben. Very cool use, and thank you to Martin. No big deal, Martin, for writing a script for our presentation.
Well, Martin wrote the big script. I'm just going to say that I did the bug fixing. me.
Very cool. Did we share that script?
Yeah.
Did we share that at all?
We haven't shared it yet. We are going to share it in some way. I just want to check that it's working 100%.
A good point.
I mean, it works great. It works great for like the main tracking stuff, but I want to see if we can extend it out and do even more stuff with it.
Why don't we say, obviously we put all our replays up on YouTube. If anyone out there is interested in the script, once we debug it and promise it won't blow up your computer, we can post it in the YouTube replay description as well.
We've got a GitHub as well for our scripts.
Oh, very cool. Awesome. So we can share that.
Yep.
Very awesome. Awesome. Okay. All right. Adrian, you can stop sharing your screen so we can come back.
All right.
See, I think we answered when you asked questions. Why don't I say, if anybody has some questions out there right now, get them in at the last minute, and let's give away some prizes, right? Let's give the
Can we
people
give away
what
some
they
stuff?
want.
Can I do it? Can I do it? This is my favorite bit.
You go ahead. Ready?
Oh, there we go. I am 3, 2.
Hold on. Let me get something nice for you. Let's look at that, right?
That is beautiful, and a very, very fitting transition for the 12 months of Boris FX Suite that is going to Tia Nicole Hoover. Congratulations, Tia. We will be in touch in the next few days with your 12-month license of Boris FX Suite, which, as I say, is everything that we have in our product line. All the stuff you've seen here: Continuum, Sapphire, Mocha Pro, and Silhouette, and Optics as well. So well done, Tia. And for the other prize, 12 months of Mistika Boutique goes to Mario Zog. Oh God, I'm sorry, Mario.
That's for you. That's for you.
Zogeb. That's it. That's what I'm going with, Mario. Well done.
Congratulations.
Well done.
Very cool. Thanks to everyone who entered. Like I said, I've said this before. I think Ben said you don't have to actually be live with us, but so I'm not sure if Mario and Tia are even watching right now, but congratulations. We will reach out via email and get your prizes to you. So great job.
Fantastic prizes. Fantastic prizes.
All right, last minute questions. Let's see. This is for Adrian and Ava. We have a question from online from like an avid Resolve house, kind of a typical, U.S. post workflow, and wondering what the learning curve on Mistika is. Like, what's the best way that that one can go about learning Mistika, and how long should you plan to kind of train?
I always say that the most difficult task when you are learning Mistika is to break a little bit with your traditional way of thinking of compared with other softwares, especially because of the timeline. Once you get used to the timeline, the rest of the aspects are pretty similar. I mean, we are not changing how the image work. I mean, the science behind the color, etc. We still have leaf, gamma gain. We still have the controls that you may expect in any grading workflow. So the difficult part is always to learn how to use this timeline and get the benefit of having this kind of infinite canvas in your workflow, because you probably will start with Mistika thinking, okay, I need this kind of video tracks and audio tracks and the way of working that I normally have used, but then you realize that you don't need them, and in fact you get much more from that kind of interface. So that's for me the main difficulty with Mistika. The rest is, I think, pretty simple.
Yeah, and I think
what I really sorry,
can I just add, because I noticed that we have among the viewers, we actually have Jan and Jeff that are very, very good Mistika users, and practically they've been on Mistika, I think, since last year, and maybe they would be even better, to tell everyone how much time did they need, how did they learn Mistika. So maybe Jeff, Jan, if you can just put a little comment in the chat, because they are already creating really, really outstanding work. So so maybe they're even better addressed to answer this.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, in terms of online training resources, what sort of stuff do you have at the moment?
Well, we have
so you can get up to speed.
We have, I think, over 200 tutorials on our YouTube channel, so it's a great way to start. There are all kind of different short videos, just how to how to start running Mistika Boutique. You actually start from the scratch. Then we also have longer master classes focusing on all different aspects, from color grading to VR, etc., etc. So this is definitely a very, very good place to start. And we are also planning to do the ICA course with our ICA trainer, who is Francisco Ramos. So this will most probably happen in the following weeks, or I think in February. So that is also a good place to look at.
Mm-hmm.
I love Ava, you calling on the Avengers watching to answer the questions out there. I love you calling upon the power of the viewers. Like a good point. A lot of people have asked this. Obviously, I think if you're in any situation where you definitely are sitting with the client while finishing, Mistika should be something you should be looking at, right? Like, if you need that level of responsiveness and that level of kind of like a big beefy system, then 100%. A lot of people kind of asking those natural questions online. Let's let me just take a look and see if I see anything else. Shane wanted to know, Ben, did you get to go to Spain to write the script with the SGO team? I can tell you that even in a non-COVID world, I'm not sure that Boris would be cool with that expense. Although I would support it wholly. But,
yeah, I think we've all forgotten what the inside of planes looked like now. It was
oh yeah,
yes, back in the before times.
Totally, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, I think that does it. Thank you, Ava. Thank you, Adrian. Great presentation. Thank you, Ben, too. You did it, my friend. So
I did something.
You did it. Great job. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all for having us. And as I posted in the chat, if you have any additional questions for me or for Adrian or for anyone else at SGO, you can reach out directly to us. So we'll be more than happy to answer.
Absolutely.
Cool. Awesome.
That's great. Thanks very much, and hope to speak with you again soon. It was great. Do something else.
See you at a trade show in the near future, possibly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Near future is relative.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
See
Well.
at a post-vaccine trade show, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll all be washing our hands more, and then we won't get the usual trade show flus from the future vaccinated trade shows.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Very cool. Awesome. All right, Ben, we have something special to end today's live stream. We're actually
very
organized,
excited.
right? We're organized enough to talk about the next live stream.
This is 2021. This is how it's going to be for the rest of the year. It's just organization. There's not going to be any kind of ad-libbing. It's completely professional. We know that the next live stream is on Wednesday, February the 3rd, 5 p.m. Eastern, and this is going to be Particle Illusion 2021 with John Dickinson. Some big news coming, and obviously John is a particle illusion god, so we're going to be seeing some really great stuff from him. So join us then. It's only 2 weeks away, and thank you very much everyone for joining us now. We will see you again on the next Boris FX Live. Bye everyone.